Hello again, it's Glenn Walford here and welcome to the Franchise Everything podcast where we talk about everything and anything franchising. And today, you might see by the background or you'll hear it on the audio, we're at the actual Kwik Kopy HQ in Sydney and I'm joined by franchise owner Emmanuel Constantinou. Emmanuel, how are you, mate?
Very good, Glenn. Thank you very much for having me here.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you for joining us here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's great to be down here. I haven't been to this office before.
Yeah, it's a very nice office.
It is, all the branding behind, obviously.
We made possible.
Yes, exactly. Reflecting almost like a disco ball or something like that with all the colours off it.
Yeah, it's all about vibrancy these days.
It is. Now, a big thank you in particular to you coming in because I understand you've got something going on. You're a franchise owner there at Bondi Junction, right. And we're going to tell your story and your journey in the business. Yeah. But you've got something going on. What's happening at the moment in the business?
Well, at the moment, I'm actually relocating my business into a new premises.
Literally as we speak.
So, so I've had to take myself away from that just so I can come and support Kwik Kopy Australia for this. And I think, but once I finish this, I'll be getting back there and get my hands dirty again. So but it's been a very hard task to be able to get it to where it is. But I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. So we're almost there. But we can actually officially say that our new premises is up and running in full production.
Excellent. So we'll jump straight into it, right?
Yep.
We'll go all over the place. We'll tell all sorts of stories.
Do it.
Yeah. So a Kwik Kopy business right now, because a Kwik Kopy business is quite different, I imagine, from what it was 15 or 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
So I know that the business has undertaken a transformation away from just printing to other aspects. So when we talk about relocation, what sort of stuff are you moving? You've still got a whole bunch of printing equipment. What does it look like?
Look, absolutely. So we've adopted all the equipment other than a few cupboards and things that we couldn't really fit into the place because the place is obviously a little bit smaller. But it was also the opportunity for, the business has been operating now for almost 30 years over there in Bondi Junction.
In that location?
In that sort of location area. But it's been 17 years in the old location where I've been now, which I'm vacating out of. But with that in mind, there's a lot of stuff that's been accumulated, and it was an opportunity for us to just, refresh and just, get rid of some of the old stuff that we didn't really need and take on board the things that we really wanted that we can serve and actually serve our community in the ways that we couldn't do before.
So you've, I don't know, we always have a little bit of a brief chat before we start these. I don't like to know too much. I like to know a little bit about your story, so I like to have a really fresh chat.
Sure.
So you've been in the printing business for decades,
37 years.
Yeah, it's a total family business.
It's a total family business. My father started, he obviously printed, he was in the printing industry back in Egypt. And when he came over to Australia, I was only, I was born then. And throughout my early days of life growing up as a kid, I always spent time. I loved seeing my father, when he was doing things on the cameras, because it was all started with Klimt cameras and stuff like that, producing films. And, I took an interest in that. It actually made me feel really sort of excited about, oh my God, and I remember the day I actually even went to a news agency or a convenience store and actually brought myself some cellophane paper or cellophane, the different colours, the red, blue and green. And I used to, because the camera was only a black and white camera, I used to actually put the cellophane in front of the lens and play around. And I was only 8 years old when I was doing that.
Working with filters.
8 years old doing things. And I was creating filters just because I just had this creativity in my mind that I wanted to create stuff. And that really drew me the passion into the print industry. Yeah,
so what sort of stuff was your dad doing? He was
a lithographer back in the days.
For those not know, a lithographer is?
So it was literally in the printing. So it's the beginning works from when the agency comes up with the creative. Someone needs to produce the film and the plates for the printers to be able to print. So lithography is how it all started. Letterpress, the letter pressing, and the numbers and the letters to create all that sort of stuff. And it all started back in those days when I created that interest in, this is really something that I really love doing. I'm creating things, and I just love creating stuff.
So with that in mind, so that's where you are, where you're doing what you are today. So how did you then take the leap for yourself from when you were a child, mucking around doing that sort of stuff? Where did your progress happen from there into the business?
Oh, look, I mean, my father started the business here in Australia many, many years ago. And when I was growing up as a kid, I was only 8 years old when I first started going into work with Dad on weekends, at school holidays. And, I just started working with him. And as I grew and the business grew, and I decided that was going to become my career path. I finished school at the age of 15 and I finished year 10. And back in those days, we didn't need to do year 11 and 12. You didn't have to go to university. So now you do, but it depends on the qualifications.
It depends on your perspective of the
world. But I did go to TAFE and I did my Cert 2, 3 and 4 and 5. And so I did do my qualifications to be able to become an apprentice and all that sort of stuff. So I did go through the hard yards.
Yes.
I wasn't given it over as a silver platter, and my father didn't want me to have that, right? He wanted me to learn and he wanted me to be educated to understand why print was so important for the industry. And I gained that knowledge and I gained that passion because everything I did that created colour was more interesting for me. And that was our job. We created opportunities of filling colour into imagery, right? And through lithographic printing, we were cutting masks and having tints. And, back in those days, we did the old street maps, for the Army Reserve. So the big street maps, we had to cut it all out by hand. All these sort of things happened. So for me, that was something that I really enjoyed doing. It was just my passion for the industry.
So what you would have seen a lot, and we're going to jump around here because there's topics galore to talk on this. Because I know you're clearly very passionate about what you do. So how has it changed? So I mean, you talk about your passion when you're very hands-on with stuff that feels very manual or very analog, I suppose you could say, in digital world, to where it is now. What is the comparison like now in what you do? And I think this is quite important for a person looking at a Kwik Kopy business to understand more about 100%. It. What sort of stuff happens now?
100%. Look, technology has really embraced our industry and we've seen the transformation of technology move so quickly, so fast. But today's world, we've had to keep up with the essence of technology. Keeping pace with technology was very important. In a business like Kwik Kopy, the right machinery, the right technology is very important, and seeing that transition of where we are today from where we were before. Now it's all computerized. Now it's, that doesn't mean that we're getting replaced by computers. It means that we're evolving and changing the way we think when we create work. It's an interesting artifact that I have because technology has improved the way we look at things. It actually creates things faster, much better. We can serve our clients same-day service. We couldn't do that before.
I was going to say it's increased your ability to help, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And like I said before, we've diversed, right?
Yes.
We're not a lot of people saying,
So what's that diversity? What's the diversity in the business
The
now?
diversity is, we've added another segment to our business, which is signage. We never used to do signage. Our business was always, printed design.
Yep.
And now we're adding the signage side of our business. That's actually added an additional layer for us to be able to embrace more work and actually help us brand businesses out there nicely. So it should be part of our ethical work.
Okay, so you can do more of a broader thing rather than just doing brochures or something like you would have done previously, or letterhead and stuff like that. You're now doing signage and that as well.
Signage as well, and it's really taken on that embracement of expanding our footprint and doing this and adding additional services to our platform.
Now going back to when you started. So you're in the business, and I know you were briefly telling me before we jumped into this about the situation where how you were able to get your business now, because you've been the owner of, or the franchise owner of Bondi Junction for 10 years now, and that business has been running for 17 prior to that, I think?
17 years.
So how did that happen? You were an employee at the business before,
I was an employee at the business, but obviously the business wasn't run correctly, and unfortunately for the owner at the time, he actually let the business go broke. When I first joined him, he was already in trouble. I didn't know anything of that because he couldn't give me access into the system, so it didn't really matter. I thought at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I can. I really embraced. But what it helped me doing was being his salesperson on the road. It actually helped me get my face out there. So I was Kwik Kopy Bondi Junction.
You were the face of the business.
I was the face of the business out there, so that helped me. So it made me feel a little bit more empowering when he did go broke. Yes, actually, you know what? I am the face of the business out there. I should pick up this business and take it on. Because I've been working in the print industry all my life. I didn't know my workers for a bar of soap. But, you get to learn them. You get to learn them really well. You get to learn and understand how they work. And my job was all about embracing my people and ensuring that they were not felt compromised by what they were doing.
By what happened.
But try and turn it around into an uplifting scenario where, I said to them straight away, you're going to earn more money, you're going to have a better lifestyle because I do business very different, right, than the previous owner. So how I'm going to tell you guys and embrace you, how I'm going to do business. And I took on the business and drove it out there, but I drove it very strong. Yeah,
I think this is a really important story, because I think this happens more often than people realise in franchising broadly, actually, I think that you've got great employees in businesses and owners that maybe necessarily aren't running it as well as they could. And I think this applies to any business, to be honest with you. And then there's opportunities for those employees to take it on because there's a system and a brand behind it and everything
100%.
already there. So how did that happen with Kwik Kopy? How did it come about? Because I think it's an interesting lesson to understand how those discussions, how you progressed in it, and what your thoughts and thinking about it when you were taking over a business that you were working in and you knew well, but was going broke.
Yes.
So can you talk us through it a bit?
Yeah. So look, I mean, I didn't know it was going broke when it actually happened. We didn't find that out until basically the 2nd of January. We were all backed in, and he said, "No, pack your bags and off you go." But anyway,
it's quite a meeting.
It's great. Yes, it was. But for me, it was. I just taking on a business like this after working in it for a year. I already had the passion in the industry. So for me, it was actually a much easier transition. But for the people that aren't, running any business is just running a business. As long as and you don't have to have the expertise and the knowledge that we have, that 37 years in the industry. You don't need that because technology has allowed us to embrace that for people that don't have that knowledge, right? And we have a very educational infrastructure here at head office, Kwik Kopy Australia, that supports new franchisees by training, and they put you through a training module, and they educate you on how to run a Kwik Kopy system, franchise system, right? And it's not rocket science, but at the end of the day, it's a matter of, if you really have passion in doing what you do every day, you'll embrace this technology, you'll embrace this education, and you'll be able to actually enforce that into your business. And as long as you create a harmony, a courageous harmony, something that people come in and have that vibrancy, that uplift, and that serviceability, that welcoming, that's what people are looking for, that experience. They walk out, you want them to say, right? That was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, and I know as a business owner, when I get printing type work done and those sort of services done, you just want someone who gets it and is going to get it done and you can rely on them.
Absolutely.
Don't you? That's the key to it, isn't it? It's really
absolutely. And that also is reflected through the staff as well.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Because the staff also have to be, you've got to motivate them. I come in the morning and they all say to me, Emmanuel, you're loud and you're really out there.
Are you?
I am very loud, by the way.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those sort of things that, I do and I do work really well, and that is I give them courage in the morning to really power on, right? So you go and walk in the morning, and it's the way you approach them. You don't walk in the morning and go, I just need a coffee. It's more in the morning. You go in and you say, good morning, everybody. Today we're going to have a great day. Today we're going to increase our sales order intake by double. How do we make this happen? And we have formulas, we have ways, and we do things the way we do to obviously help us transition through those days.
So with that in mind, what does a normal day look like? Well, I suppose every business doesn't have a normal day quite often.
No, they
but
don't.
what does a day look like in a Kwik Kopy business when you're doing things like you're saying, I want to increase sales? How are you going about that? What are you doing? What sort of services are you already undertaking for clients?
Yeah.
And then in developing the business, what's happening?
Look, every franchise model is slightly different, but only because of size and capabilities, right? So, and knowledge, of course, because not all of them have the same knowledge as some of the higher end ones, right? So, but nevertheless, it's all about sort of embracing the opportunity of seeing what you can do. My day's work is very simple, coming in, really sort of running through production meetings just to get everybody up to speed, because during the day we
And what size is your team, sorry?
We've got a team of 7.
Okay, yep.
And every morning we have a production meeting and we basically get ourselves updated by what happens throughout the day, what's going to happen and what we've done. So we at least then know what's going on. And then we sort of talk about sales and how much increase the sales. So then we've got different ways of doing that. A, myself, I'm always on the road. B, I actually, I'm part of an organisation. I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce, which obviously helps me promote and amplify my promotion out there of what I do. At the same time, I'm also, getting on the phones, and I tell my guys, I want to start seeing you getting on the phones. I don't want emails. I want, it's all about connecting with our customers. You want to become more personal when you actually speak to your customer. You're going to get a lot more out of them then. But it's also understanding your customers. It's also making sure that you know what they're doing. How much work do they do? How much print do they actually buy every year? It's gaining that knowledge, and then you can really work that. Watching your trends, right? Every month there's another trend, right? So it's a matter of, so next year, same month, that trend's going to repeat. It's a matter of tapping into that, looking at your knowledge of the information that you've got in your centre. It's all about, really going through it, checking it, and making sure that you feel comfortable in calling your clients. And this is one of the biggest things that we've been facing. It's just like, how do you make someone comfortable about picking up the phone and talking to a client?
And how do you get around that? Because I know there's all the memes, and everyone always talks about people saying, why are you calling me? Why are you calling me? How do you get around that with training your staff?
Look, with training my staff, it's a matter of picking up making them understand that picking up the phone is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Sometimes they say, "Oh, it's quicker to email," and I said, "Yes, but it's actually more personal when you pick up the phone."
It's also quicker. It's also quicker and easier to flick it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So picking up the phone and then trying to get through the gatekeepers.
Yes.
But normally, with our industry these days, we can pretty much speak to the person that actually orders pretty easily. There's always a way to connect with these people, and it's actually just calling them and asking them how their day is, and if there's anything that we can assist. Oh, by the way, we've got a really good special on. It's talking to them about promotions, some of the things that we're doing, and some of the new technology that we're bringing on board, right? And that helps us understand our clients a little bit better, because when we're starting to showcase our services that client may not be aware of. He says, oh my God, I've got an exhibition on next week. I didn't even know you guys did.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of things here like that. So
unless you talk about it,
they won't
you're
know,
never going to know.
because they're certainly not looking for it.
That's exactly right.
What is your most effective way of gaining new clients? So is it calls? Is it Chamber of Commerce like you talk about? Is it people off the street?
Calls. I'm the salesman that's out there.
You're the man. You're the face of it.
I'm the face of the business. So for me, I've got two CSRs at the front. One is a centre manager as well as CSR, and I have another CSR as well. So I've got two CSRs at the front. That's just basically customer service. So they're the ones that they do all the quotes, they do all the things, they serve the clients that walk through the door, and our repeat clients that order regularly. So we've picked up some very good businesses. I mean, one of them, and I can promote that, is Mad Mex, which is the Mad Mex Mexican restaurants.
Yes.
So we do all their work Australia-wide. And that was picked up by a major presentation that I did, and it was based on the connections that I had internally.
And that's a huge benefit from
100%.
a franchise perspective, isn't it? Because suddenly you've got network connection, network connectivity
100%.
to provide for other franchise networks around the country.
That's right. So this is the good thing, because what we said to them is, we understand your model because we're a franchise model ourselves.
Of course.
So we understand the importance of getting media out there into those Australian stores and the restaurants, and how we're going to do that. And we've created a very comprehensive logistic of how that whole operation works, and it works very well.
So you enjoy the sales?
I love sales.
Yeah, I imagine you would.
I love sales. It's part of what I've done all my life. My father taught me to do this, and he basically said, the best way to get business is to become the best salesman in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you do that?
Yeah, how do you
And
sell?
it was a lot of training and a lot of educating. And I had a few mentors teach me a few techniques and a few things, and that was part of something that my father gave to me. If you don't have that knowledge, and that's still okay, you don't need to understand how to become a good salesman to be able to sell. Just getting on the phone and talking to people and being honest about things is very important, because people see through all of that.
Of course. Have you ever tried to put someone else in the sales role in your business?
Look, I prefer not, because I can, but the size of model that I've got, I don't want to add another salesman. If I did, yeah, sure, I could probably get more business. But then I think to myself, well, if I have to do that, then why can't I do that? I should be able to spend more time going out there, seeing my clients and facing it. And I do have a, comprehensive way of doing it, because I've got the Chamber of Commerce as well, and that has networking events. So I'm engaging with business owners that are all in our territory regularly. So it's always reminding them about who I am. You don't go out there and talk too much about print and design, because people don't do it, but you mention what you do and they take an interest in it.
It's by default, isn't it?
It's by default, right? So and these are the things that so you just got to get out there and just try and look, you're going to stumble at the beginning. You're going to stumble, but that's okay. People don't critique you when you're stumbling, because they know that you're trying. So you just got to give it a go, and don't be afraid.
How have you gone with the innovations in the business? You're coming across to me just meeting you a very positive person, a very open and outgoing person. I imagine there's been a lot of technical change in the business over the years.
Yes.
How have you managed that and gone along with that? Because you clearly are well and truly on board with it. Or I imagine there's other people who have been left behind who were not willing to get on board with technology change. It's going to happen regardless.
Absolutely.
But how have you been able to deal with that as you've gone through the years?
Look,
with your
I mean,
extensive experience?
absolutely. Look, embracing technological change is very difficult because you don't know what you're really getting yourself into. No? Technology is moving so rapidly at the moment that you really got to understand it. But there's a lot of research out there. There's a lot of suppliers that provide information about what technology is better for you. We, as an organisation, have have head office that sort of steers us in the right directions and gives us the platform to be able to understand better of what technology is going to drive our franchise systems better out there. So you don't have to know all the knowledge about it because you've got the infrastructure and the backing and the support from head office to be able to do that for you. So when it comes to making decisions about what technology is right and what's the right technology and how am I going to embrace that technology, for me it was a little bit because I've been doing it all my life. It was a no-brainer of the direction that I wanted to take. But for people that haven't got the knowledge, it's about, just really understanding and getting the support from head office. What's the right thing to do? How do I embrace this? How do I find out more? And it's doing research. You've got to research a lot and find out what's good for you out there, which then you make a decision on what technology is going to be right for your business.
Do you find
you need to understand really what you're selling out there and making sure the technology backs that.
So how does that differ per Kwik Kopy? Are there different Kwik Kopy locations have very different product offers and services, or
look, we all offer very
or
similar.
depending on your percentage of sales, or is it quite similar?
No, look, we all sell the same, but different volumes and different aspects. Some people
in
are
whatever
a little
niche
bit more,
in some area.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Some are a little bit more afraid. So some people say, "Oh, look, I don't really do too much signage because I'm a bit frightened about signage." But signage is just like doing posters. So if you do posters,
Is it posters a different material?
It's a different material. It's just the application side because people get afraid about applications, like how do I apply it on walls and how do I do this sort of stuff.
So is it the complexity?
I think it's the complexity.
Yeah.
And it's not complex, it's more the knowledge. We've embraced this technology into our business models. And I mean, we've embraced it quite well. And we've got people that serve us and so, we've got suppliers that actually mount all our graphics up its rules. But we've learned a lot along the way and we do a lot ourselves. But it's about doing it a little bit. And you're going to stuff up the first few times.
Of course.
But the clients, as long as you fix it, the client doesn't have a problem.
Yeah. Do you find you're an advocate for this type of thing within the network, within the system?
Absolutely.
How does that go down? What's the family like? But that way within the Kwik Kopy business.
Look, the family is really good. I mean, we're a network, and I promote that very heavily. We shouldn't be out there competing against each other.
Just about the first thing you said to me when I met you this morning.
Yeah, we shouldn't be competing against each other. What we should be doing is actually going out there and working as a team. Yep. We're here to support each other. We're an infrastructure that supports all of Australia. So, for example, and I'll give you one example here, Madmex said to me the other day, he said, look, we need something in Perth today. Can you get it there today? Yes, we will.
Yep.
And we're going to use our Perth store to print it for us and deliver it today. It's using the network and working positively for your customers.
It's the power of the network,
It's the power of the network. And that's all you have to do. You just got to work through it. Some people are afraid to make those phone calls and says, actually, I'm not going to give them the job. Well, they're going to steal my client. No one's going to steal any client of yours. Within the Kwik Kopy family system, no one steals any clients. Right? What we do is we work together to serve our customers. Whether you serve it on individually throughout your store or as a network, it's up to you. But as long as the customers are satisfied with your service, that's all that really matters at the end.
Absolutely. Now, you also said that you were, in our brief chat beforehand, that you're the president of the Bondi District Chamber of Commerce and have been for 8 years.
That's correct.
How has that impacted your business? So I think there's a lot of us in small business, and mine's a small business as well, I class it as well, is we get, heads down, bums up and just doing our own thing.
Yes.
How has being out and about like you are clearly, how's that impacted on your business?
Significantly, absolutely, because being out there and facing your clients is very important. What the Chamber of Commerce is a non-for-profit organisation that has 4 pillars, which educates, advocates, connects, and helps the business community grow. The Chamber of Commerce is a body that supports the business community. And what we do is we go out there and create opportunities of how we can support the business community. With that in mind, creating networking events so we can connect people together. With that in mind, supporting them by educating them, by creating masterclasses for things that they need to be educated with to help run their businesses. So the Chamber does a lot of things out there as the voice of business. Our job is to connect with councils and make sure we work with the dignitaries, the local dignitaries, and we've got 3 of them, and working with MPs and that. Get you out there. And when you start talking to these people, suddenly you become the essence of, you need to be supporting me as a local business. I'm a business just like everybody else.
And I'm right in front of you right now.
And I'm right in front of you right now. And all I want you to do is actually help me to show you what we can do to deliver the services for you, for your business. All the MPs have money to spend on printing. It only takes a knock on the door.
That's a byproduct of it as well, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a knock on the door.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a local business and I would love your support. And it's simple as that. How can I help you by delivering some of the print material that you order? Can I have a look at what you order? Can you tell me what happens? It is simple as that. And working with the mayor, the networking events are really crucial. I understand working in a franchise business sometimes can be very monotonous because you do this day in, day out. You get stuck in the rat race of doing your business. But I can only stress the importance of getting out there and networking with other clients is also very important.
It's you can't beat it, can you?
You can't.
It's like we all do, and I'm the same. You push away from it, and the day when you get on the phones or get out and see people, you go, wow, look at the impact that had.
Absolutely.
You get proven right every single time that happens.
It's as easy as that, right? It's going out there and just showing a face. You don't have to go out there. It's not every night.
Yep.
It's just maybe once a month you go out and you collaborate by some of these amazing business owners that are all in your local area, and they all take interest to having a conversation with you. So you just got to go.
And go and be genuine.
Just be genuine. Be yourself, right? And people like that. And what happens is that has a spin-off effect, because what that will be is that networking event may have gained you 5 new clients.
But they might not be. They might not be instantly. That's the thing. People want instant, don't they?
Sure, absolutely. They may not be instant, but at the end of the day, if you don't start now, it won't happen. So you've got to take that first step.
Absolutely.
You've got to get out there and do it, because if you're wanting something today, you've got to be doing that last month. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. There's a funnel, isn't there? There's a long tail.
There's a little ripple effect.
There's a lead to it.
100%.
So with all of that in mind, it got me thinking in my head as you were talking then, so what is it about Kwik Kopy for you? You're clearly really passionate about it. What is it that keeps you 10 years in Kwik Kopy?
Yep.
What is it about this business that holds you? You've got so much knowledge, you've got so much passion and dedication to it. What is it about this business that keeps you as pumped as you are for it, clearly?
Yeah, look, I mean, what makes me pumped in my daily duties, and why do I do what I do every day? It's because I have a great family support, which is head office. These people are out there every day looking at opportunities of how they can help you to run your business better. I like that. You're not on your own. I don't feel like I'm on my own out there, because I have a network behind me supporting me, right? Whether it's head office, whether it's other stores, whether it's, suppliers, whether it's anybody that you've got, they're all behind you to support you. And it makes me feel proud to own a business in Kwik Kopy, right? To know that I've got the support, I've got the knowledge to be able to tap into knowledge if I need it. If I don't have it, I've got the knowledge here in head office. So it's not a stressful environment to own a Kwik Kopy store. It's actually a really refreshing breeze of, you get this refresh of, wow, I'm really creating imagery that helps entrepreneurs make a mark on their life, right? I'm actually helping businesses, bring their brands to life,
achieve
their ideas,
things, helping them achieve things. Yeah, of course.
And it's so good when you actually produce this work and you see it on billboards, you see it on streets, and you walk past and say, I did that. I mean, this feels good, and it makes you feel good. So it's there's a lot behind owning a Kwik Kopy business. It's not just that loom and doom. I feel like I'm lonely. I feel like I've got to do it all myself. Well, no, you don't, right? But if you've got to have a passion to want to do it, to be able to do it, because if you don't, then you get left behind.
Well, I don't think we could have finished on anything better than that. Emmanuel Constantinou, Bondi Junction, Kwik Kopy franchise owner. Thanks so much for joining us, mate. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Take care.
Thank you. You too.
And I hope you join us again next time on the Franchise Everything podcast. See you soon.